Telling you, these deep dives feel much, much, much better. And we're going on a 5-game winning streak. What is up, Finn fans? Deeper dive into yesterday's fantastic. It was fantastic because it's a 5-game winning streak, but it wasn't great. Offense was still very messy, and we'll talk about that. Going to break it down, got some stats, got some tidbits. We're going to talk about playoffs, draft. We're going to talk about a lot in this video, so stick around real quick. Before we jump into that, though, I got to shout out my guys at Backroom Collections. I talk about them quite a lot. If you don't know about them, fantastic artwork, canvas artwork. They now have visors for your mini helmets and stuff like that. They have a ton of stuff over there. Go over backroomcollections.net. Use the promo code DDW. You get yourself 10% off. You've seen the images popping up. Great stuff. Go check them out. So looking at this game, 5-game winning streak. Second time it's happened since 1994. The New York Giants started 1-7, then went on a 5-game winning streak. And it's just big. The Dolphins are putting something together. We'll see how this pans out. They still have to take on the Jets, but they get a nice bye. And then they're home for the Jets. The Miami Dolphins don't travel till after December 27th. So they get to relax, get themselves situated, get themselves physically able. Will Fuller be available? If he's not at this point, then there has to be a clause in his contract that they could be like, listen, you didn't play and you could have played and yada yada, and we're only going to give you $5 million. Something. There has to be something. But even Dolphins are set to be second, I think, around $80 million in cap space next year, or maybe more. So they're fine with cap next year. Resign some players, but that's a video for down the road. But they don't travel till after December 27th. Real quick though, Brian Flores talking after mentioned a lot about days of rest and all that stuff during this bye. Probably really wants these guys, especially Waddle, looked like he got a little banged up. You saw a lot of these guys, Tua with the ribs and his finger. A lot of guys just need some rest, and talked about it multiple times, giving these guys a break and giving them rest during the bye. Real quick, talking about Brian Flores, I'll give you some stats. Brian Flores, the Dolphins under Brian Flores in December, 7-3. The Dolphins under Brian Flores after Halloween, 17-6. So he has a slow start, and he needs to work on that. We came out hot, beat the Patriots. Obviously, went on a 7-game losing streak. But even in 2020, slow start, right? I think we went like 1-3. Then we started picking up some steam and stuff. So he needs to get better at getting his team and even himself situated when it comes to the beginning of the season. Looking at facing the Giants, this is the first time the Dolphins beat the Giants since October 5th of 2003. I was at that game. That was at Giant Stadium because it wasn't MetLife yet. It was at Giant Stadium. This is the first time the Dolphins have ever beat the Giants at home. Ever. This is the third time they've ever beaten them. So big win by the Dolphins. Looking at the offense, we're going to talk about Jaylen Waddle on this one. In this game, he breaks the Miami Dolphins rookie reception number, beating Javon Holland, Jarvis Landry, which the record 85. I think he's at 85 now, or it might be at 86. He's 35 yards away from breaking Chris Chambers' receiving yards for a rookie with the Miami Dolphins. 16 receptions from breaking the NFL rookie reception that was held by Anquan Bolden. So he's only 16 away. We still have 4 games left to play. He only needs 4 receptions a game. And he's second in the NFL in receptions, and he is 14th in the NFL in yards, 849. Jaylen Waddle really doing some great stuff for us. Talk about Tua Tagovailoa. He almost had, for the first time ever, 3 consecutive games with 80% completion, but I think he ended the game around 75. Comment of the day is a good comment. It's kind of going to coincide with what I'm talking about now, but I'll address it more. He made some good throws. He made some bad throws. Most of the time it was good throws, even if they were underneath the first down marker. But again, we're going to break down the film and see how much of that played in with the offensive line and how much of that played into something else. But Tua played well. You look at him, you look at how much yards he passed for, how he played the 2 touchdowns. He played well. I just want more out of the offense. I'm tired of 2 touchdown drives. I need more out of the offense. I want more consistency, more out of the entire offense. No touchdowns allowed in the second game this season. The first game was the Houston Texans game. Second game with 250 yards less for the defense. Carolina, we held them to 109. Since the 5-game winning streak, here are some of the stats that the defense is ranked. When it comes to scoring, the Dolphins ranked defense 3rd in the NFL with 11 points per game. When it comes to sacks, again, this is over the past 5-game winning streak, the Dolphins are 1st with 19 sacks over those 5 games. When it comes to takeaways, they are 3rd with 11 takeaways. When it comes to rushing D, they are 6th with only 84.8 yards per game. Actually doing really well today, shutting down the run. When it comes to passing defense, they are 7th in 196 yards per game. And total defense, when it comes to yards, is 4th with 280.8. So the defense over the past 5 games is the major reason why we've won. Yes, Carolina, we scored some points, and but at the Ravens game, it took us a while to get that ball going. The Texans game, we barely scoring any points. So defense is a big reason. Let's talk about the highlight for the past 2 games. Now, yes, Javon Holland is nice, and it's good to see him continue success. But Jaelan Phillips right now, after his 2-sack game, back-to-back sacks in this game, is sitting at 8.5 sacks. He breaks the rookie record for the Miami Dolphins in sacks in a season. 8. It was 8 held by Lorenzo Bromell in 1998 and Bill Stanfill in 69. So he just broke the Miami Dolphin rookie sacks with 8.5. And so many people were looking at Jaelan Phillips like, where's Jaelan Phillips? Oh, is he a bust? Is he a bust? We should have took Russo. Russo. We should have took. Oh, I can't believe we took Jaelan Phillips. We're gonna have another bust on. Sitting at 8.5 sacks, tied for 8th in the NFL. Not on the Miami Dolphins history, but in the NFL right now, he's tied for 8th with 8.5 sacks. Doing really, really well. He's only a sack and a half from Micah Parsons. A sack and a half from being the leading sacker in the draft of 2021. And people were questioning him, where is he? And he's a bust. And patience, young Padawans. Patience. I talk about that, got to give these rookies, got to give these guys coming out of the draft minimum of 3 years. But we want it now. We want it now. Xavier Howard with another interception today. He has 4 on this season. And you think to yourself, just 4? I know he went from 10 to 4, but he is tied for 4th in the NFL with his 4 interceptions. But, looking at the way they played, and now we get the bye. Again, I'll talk more about this in the bye. I got videos planned for the bye. Maybe I'll be able to bring some guys on for the bye, talk about, how everything's going. I wish they would have won 2 of the games out of 7 they lost. Give me 2. Give me the Raiders game. Give me that pass interference in the end zone. Let us win that game. And give me that stop. Give me the one stop with 2 minutes left against the Falcons. Just 2 games. I'll take 5 losses. Just give me the 2 games. So I could be sitting here at 8-5 right now. 8-5 and probably number 1 in the NFL and the AFC. Because the Patriots, I think, are sitting number 1 with 8-4. And if we we're rooting for the Bills, but say they lose to the Bills, we have the tiebreaker. So just give me 2 wins. But going in 6-7, starting 1-7, going in 6-7, I'm happy. Like I said, I'd be more happy if we had those 2 wins. But I'm happy. Got the Jets, got the Saints, got the Titans, got the Patriots. None of those games really scare me. The Patriots game, last game of the year, we're home for. But as I'm talking about this, let's look at the playoff standing, right? Right now, New England is 1, Tennessee's 2, Baltimore's 3, and Kansas City's 4. All of them are 8-4. That's your top 4 sitting right now. And again, the Bills and the Patriots have to play. If the Bills beat the Patriots, they go to number 1, and the Patriots go to number 5. Bills are sitting at 5, Chargers at 6, Bengals at 7 after losing to the Chargers. That's your top 7 right now. Then you have Pittsburgh, who beat the Ravens. Good for them. Indy, Raiders, Browns, Broncos, Dolphins. Broncos lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. Browns had a bye. Raiders lost to the Washington football team. And I think the Colts won. Yeah, they won. They beat the Texans, and they're on a bye. So this upcoming week, it's the Patriots, the Colts, the Dolphins, and I don't know who the 4th team, I think it's an NFC team, that are on a bye. Looking at this, to help the Dolphins' position in getting in the playoffs, right, to move us up, Denver would lose to the Lions this upcoming week. That'll help us. Denver will go below us. We go above Denver. Steelers losing to the Vikings. Like, Denver losing to the Lions probably ain't going to happen, but Steelers losing to the Vikings, that's a possibility, even though the Vikings just lost to the Lions. That would help us. Them having that tie, so stupid that they get benefit from that. That would help us. Raiders losing to Kansas City seems more likely than not. Again, we'll be tied. They did have the tiebreaker head-to-head with us, but once you add more teams in, those head-to-heads don't really matter. So if all of a sudden there's 4 teams at 6 and 7, all of a sudden the Dolphins might be able to move up because head-to-heads don't matter in that situation. Browns lose to the Ravens, right? So the Browns lose to the Ravens. If the Raiders, Browns, Broncos all lose, that's a 4-way tie. I don't know how that would pan out, but it could benefit the Dolphins to move up. Same thing with the Steelers. If they lose, it can move us up. But again, the Dolphins own a head-to-head with the Ravens. So like I said, Browns lose to the Ravens would benefit us. But even if it's flipped, that might help us too. We'd only be 2 games from the Ravens. I don't really know how the rest of their schedule goes. But if they start to falter and the season ends with the Dolphins and the Ravens having the same schedule, the Dolphins have that tie head-to-head. So either or, that works for us. And then the Bengals losing to the 49ers, that would help us as well. Put us 1 game out of that. So 4 teams, 5 teams losing would benefit us, even if they don't. If some of them lose, it helps us move up, and a lot of things are happening with 4 weeks left after this upcoming week. And the Bengals 49ers, that's a win-win for us. Bengals win, 49ers lose, helps us a better draft pick, and vice versa, other way around, helps us potentially making the playoffs. Now, I know a lot of you guys are like, Doug, why are you doing this? Who gives a crap about the playoffs, man? Yada, yada. Because it gives me something to root for. And at this point in the season, after starting 1-7, I didn't think I'd be rooting for the playoffs. I didn't think I'd be on a 5-game winning streak. So it's nice. Let me be happy. Do I expect them to win the next 4 games straight and make the playoffs? No. Am I going to root for it and hope for it? Yeah. Because that's all I got right now. But that's the playoff run, and then we'll look at the tankathon when it comes to the draft picks. Last time I showed this, which was yesterday, we were sitting at 13, which means the Eagles were sitting at 13, and we were sitting at 20, which means the 49ers were sitting at 20. But as you can see on this side, it's changed. With Washington winning, they got pushed up to the 20th because they pushed past the 49ers. So right now the Dolphins are sitting at 12, which means the Eagles are sitting at 12, and the 49ers at 19, which means the Dolphins are at 19. So if we just keep winning and the 49ers keep losing, eventually we'll match up because we're 6-7, they're 6-6. So if the 49ers lose to the Bengals, same record. So we'll see how that all pans out. And they have the tougher strength of schedule, easier strength of schedule. We have the tougher strength of schedule, which means we go ahead of them. So if the 49ers lose to the Bengals, we move ahead of them. And if the Bengals beat the 49ers, well, it might help us in the playoff race. But that's what I got for you for a deeper dive today. Breaking down some stats, giving you some information when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to the draft, when it comes to the team. Be sure to comment below, and I'm going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day. And this comment comes from Fernando, and it's a very good comment. And he says, comment of the day: where do you draw the line between consistency and perfection? With the O-line and running game, we have what would be your reasonable expectation of what Tua can do in these circumstances. Very, very, very good question, because I talk about him being inconsistent. And when I talk about him being inconsistent, I factor in what he can do and what he can control, right? So there was a play we'll break down Wednesday. There was a play, I think we were trying to get the first down to kind of try to milk the clock a little bit more. It was like a big wing formation. I think we kept a lot of guys in to block. And he drops back and he just instantly looks, I think it was the Gaskin or Ahmed, and just throws it. And the ball gets tipped. But like that, he gets the ball snapped to him and he just throws it. Now, it's probably designed that way, but he had time in the pocket. He also had the whole left side of the offensive line. There was no one there. It was mostly the right side kind of started to come in on him a little bit. That's where they smacked the ball down. And it's plays like that where I'm like, you could have moved to your left and you had more than enough time to scan the field and potentially throw it past the first down marker and get big chunk yardage. So that drives me nuts, right? There was a few passes to Gesicki that were high, even to Waddle, they were high. That I was just like, what's going on with him? Why is he so inaccurate with these passes? But to flip it around, and this is where you ask about the consistency, I see him make throws. I see him make throws with the pocket collapsing around him. 15-yard dot for a first down. Last week, that touchdown pass to Waddle, just in between the defenders. I see, even this week, I'll point it out, there was another throw that I was just like, where he put that ball? I think Waddle drops it. I'm like, he is just precision on these throws. I want to see those throws more often. Do I expect him to be perfect? Do I expect him to not have any overthrows, not have any throws in the ground? No, because with this type of offensive line, there was a play where Austin Jackson wasn't blocking anybody, and then he just peels out to the left and allows the rusher straight in and doesn't even touch him. You're going to have that because the offensive line is going to struggle. So I don't expect perfection, but I just want to see more of the good than the bad. You know what I'm saying? I'd say right now it's about 65 good, about 35 bad. The bad isn't that much. He's mostly on point with his throws and stuff, but it's just, I need to, and that's why a lot of people who don't like Tua are like, C, like the offsides. He just threw a duck. Like, what kind of throw is that? But then he'll make great throws to Gesicki across the middle, to Waddle that he dropped on a slant. Like, he makes good throws and then he's inconsistent. So where does the line draw between consistency and perfection? I don't expect him to be perfect. I just expect him to make the throws I've seen him make, especially with the pressure, especially with the offensive line the way it is. Because he doesn't have a run game because the offensive line's not good. He doesn't have much time in the pocket to let deep plays develop because the offensive line's not that good. I don't expect that. I don't expect him to make Justin Herbert type throws down the field because he doesn't have the time to. I don't expect him to have certain advantages because we can't do the play action because we don't have a running game. So I don't expect perfection. I just want to see more of the good out of him because I've seen it in tougher situations. Does that make any sense? I might have rambled for about 5 minutes, but I hope it made sense to you, Fernando. But thank you so much for the comment. It's a very good comment, especially with me constantly saying he's inconsistent. But he's getting better at that. He's not as inconsistent, but he's still missing some throws, especially when he misses like touchdowns and stuff. But that one to Gesicki that hit him in the face mask, you got to catch that. There's a few drops that wasn't on Tua. You got to catch those. But we'll break it down in the film breakdown. Other than that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Me and Big O going to talk about 5 games in a row. I have a lot of stats to talk about. It's going to be a nice breakdown. Maybe we'll talk about Brian Flores again and see if Big O moved off of firing him. But other than that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy. Fins up.